Right, so can you tell me what is your role exactly?
Hi there. My name is James, and I'm a sales agent here to help you find the perfect electronics. What can I help you with today?
Hey builders, it's Amr here, and on today's video I'll show you how you can build agentic system or multi-agent system to solve a complex problem. So the first step is to set the mission, and the best way to set the mission is to answer this question, which is what's the values that you are delivering to the business? And the answer can be like you are saving money, or you are providing better decision taking, or you are helping the customers. And then after setting the mission, you have to break it down into smaller roles. And the best way to do this is to start with the end goal by asking this question: what's the business results I'm trying to achieve? For example, if you working on automating sales email outreach, you have to break this large mission into smaller ones. Like, for example, for this mission or for this problem or for this system that you are designing, you have to break it down into smaller missions or smaller tasks. So you have this task, which is research lead information to find the name, roles, company size, and so on. So this is a single mission that you have to build and customize agent for this specific mission. And so on. You have to generate personalized mails, check grammar, and so on. After breaking down the large mission into smaller ones, like you can see there, the third stage is about creating a specialized agent for every single small or mini mission. So as you can see, we have three features that we have to define. Basically, we have the agent name. As you can see, we have the agent name and the task tool that you might use. So the first agent is about the lead generation. So for this agent, the task is to find contact, and it can use tools like Scraper, in which you have to scrape the data from websites and from social media in order to generate leads. So every agent has like set of tools that help this agent to output the expected results. And as you can see, we have agent for every single task or mini mission. And when it comes to tool that we might use, we can use something like MCP server, which provide tools to the agents in order to function in a proper way. So you don't need to customize every single tool. You just need to call the tool with the help of MCP servers. And I will talk about this in a moment. Step number 4 is about choosing the appropriate AI or framework that you're going to use to implement these agents. For me, I'm using Crow AI, and you have other options like LangChain, RankGraph, AutoGen, and so many options. But it doesn't matter, and it can depend on the use case itself. So in case of you have complex interactions or complex relationship between the agents, you may go to something like AutoGen. If you want to something which is general and they can solve most of the problems, you can use Crow AI. And this is the framework that I prefer. So all these frameworks are designed to help you or to make the process easier, the process of making or creating AI agents. And in few cases, you may use VLM or Vision Language Model if you have vision tasks like extracting text from image or some sort of detection. So you can use Vision Language Model, or you can customize your own detection model if you are dealing with very specific problem. Stage number 5 is about designing the inner agent communication. And this is very important part. And for this purpose, we have A2A protocol, which is agent to agent that Google just released a few weeks ago. And this protocol simply is managing, as you can see, it is managing the interaction between the agents. So as I mentioned, we have MCP server, which is designed to allow the agent to connect to other tools from the internet without customizing it from scratch. So this is the purpose of MCP protocol. MCP server simply is providing resources and the tools. But A2A protocol is designed to allow the agents to communicate and exchange the information. And the fact is A2A will not replace MCP server, but A2A is just complementary to MCP server. As you can see, in a system with two agents, we are using A2A protocol to allow the agent to exchange and interact with each other, and we are using MCP protocol to give the agents some sort of tools and resources. So we need the two. A to A doesn't replace MCP protocol because you need the two. And this figure right there is showing the same information about A to A with MCP server. And when it comes to A to A protocol, we have two main components. The first one is agent card. And the agent card is simply defining the agent name, the agent unique identifier like the ID of the agent, and some metadata about the agent. Because you are in a system with large number of agents, you have to have like identifier and some capabilities that you have to define for every agent. So we have an identifier, capabilities, and endpoint. And endpoint is how you can reach the agent or how the agent can communicate with other agents in the same system. And then the second part or the second component is the task of the agent. And this task has the unique identifier. And the reason why every task has unique identifier is we don't have to have like redundancy. So if we have agent can do task 1, so I don't want other agents to be able to do the same task because it's going to be like redundancy that we don't need in our system. So the first thing in tasks, we have the task ID, message content, the message that the agents are communicating with, and we have a status and some metadata. I think this protocol makes sense. And yeah, it's going to change the game of building multi-agents. Stage number 6 is the most important because it's about building and customizing the orchestrator. And the orchestrator is literally the brain of your multi-agent system because the orchestrator is managing the agent triggering. And I'll show you how now. Imagine you have this simple system in which you have these 4 agents, agent A, agent B, and C, D. So now, first thing you receive is the user input. You are receiving the user instruction or the user prompt, and you have to map this into certain agents to trigger. So imagine I'm asking question about the weather, and you have agent for weather, agent for sending mail, and the agent, let's say, for generating leads. It's irrelevant, but I'm just giving example. So the orchestrator have to decide which agent to trigger based on your intent or based on your need. So orchestrator has to classify your prompt or your input, and it has to be able to trigger the right agent. So it selects the agent based on your input or based on the user message, and then we pass the data or extract the data from the user message to be processed. And then you have the response. And don't forget that all these things are tracked in a conversation history. And why we implement memory or kind of tracking all the interactions? And the reason is we want the agent to evolve. So by providing all this conversation history in the coming messages, the agent will consider this context message after message, message after message, and this is going to be a great advantage that allow the agent to evolve. So building memory for most of the interactions is going to be important to allow the agent to evolve over time. Because I've talked about this in the previous video, which is about memory and the importance of agent memory. Agent memory is capturing common patterns of the user message or the user tune, and this allows the agents to evolve or to capture your behavior over time. So it will going to give you accurate responses. And when it comes to triggering, as I mentioned, the mission or the main role of orchestrator is to trigger the proper agent based on the user instruction. When it comes to trigger type, we have, like you can see, time-based. So we have to call this agent in time X or time Y. We have event-based. So based on some event, we need to trigger this agent based on task, based on condition, based on external input. So you have so many options. Based on your use case, you decide which option to pick or which option to stick with. And this is how it looks after the implementation. You have like orchestrator, you have folder to place all the agents that you have. So let's open this. We have, like you can see in my system, which is sales system, we have Notion agent to just set events, and we have a sales agent to start help the users to take the decision based on the specs of the laptop and so on. We have like PC builder agent that help the clients to pick the right components or the right CPU with the right GPU and so on. So yeah, we have to implement all these things, but first you have to break it down into logical diagrams to be able to implement with strong vision. So the first step, which is about documenting and drawing how the system is going to work, is very important, and it's going to make the process much easier. And I promise you, in the next video I'll teach you how to start build your own agentic system with Python with the help of AI. And see you in the next video.